Hello and welcome fellow MOAA members and advocates. I'm Lieutenant General Brian Kelly, MOAA's CEO and President, and we're excited to have so many of you joining us this year for our return to an in-person advocacy and action event. Over the past few months, I've met with lawmakers and staffers on the Hill, reconfirming MOAA's role as a leader in the uniformed services and veteran space. These meetings have provided an opportunity to ensure our lawmakers understand that although it's in our title and we are an association of officers, we are not an association only about officers. We are an association of officers that fulfills our responsibilities to take care of, advocate for, and represent all ranks, officer and enlisted, across all 8 uniformed services. We recognize the service and sacrifice of those currently serving, retirees, veterans, families, caregivers, and survivors, and work to honor those sacrifices through our advocacy and our broader community efforts. Now, I want to provide a brief overview of this year's Advocacy and Action Campaign topics. You will also hear about each topic in more detail from our government relations team and have access to advocacy resources on our website. This year, America celebrates the 50th anniversary of the AllVolunteer Force. The professional nature and built-in dedication of an all-volunteer force has served the nation well. During these 50 years, we've experienced ups and downs in the number of citizens volunteering to serve, but recent reports indicate a near historic low point for interest in military service. The all-volunteer force is our national strategic advantage, and we must act now to help maintain it. We must urge Congress, DoD, VA, and other federal agencies to protect the quality of life among both those who are serving and those who have served. Recognizing that the experience of this group of influencers has the ultimate impact on whether they advise the next generation of potential volunteers to follow in their footsteps or take a different path. To ensure the future of the all-volunteer force, we must always keep our promises to include providing high-quality health care benefits. MOAA has a long history of successfully advocating against legislation that erodes medical benefits, such as previous proposals to cut medical billets across the military health system. However, the challenges continue, and the current environment features a reduction in TRICARE pharmacies across the nation. TRICARE pharmacy cuts are impacting the most vulnerable members of our great community and must be addressed now before this benefit is further eroded. The commitment to provide adequate housing is another essential promise of service. As the nation continues to recover from the impact of the pandemic and high inflation rates, many of our service members are struggling financially. In 2015, DoD began cutting the housing allowances, ultimately resulting in Basic Allowance for Housing, or BAH, covering only 95% of estimating housing costs. 5% for junior enlisted troops with families, and many others in high cost of living areas can force decisions between covering rent or other household budget items like groceries and gasoline. Restoring BAH to 100% of estimated housing costs will go a long way to reducing financial stress for these families. Nothing is more effective than for your lawmakers to hear directly from you, and that is what makes AIA such an important event. I want to thank you all for raising awareness on these issues, whether it be virtually or in person. If you want to help from home, go to moaa.org/AIA and register as an advocate. Thank you again for all you do and for making the decision to never stop serving.